NCERT.com Science. 8. Chapter 12. How Nature Works in Harmony.
Habitat. A habitat is the natural environment, providing food, water, air, and shelter for living things to survive. Habitats are categorized into terrestrial, land-based like forests and deserts, and aquatic, water-based like rivers and oceans. Every habitat consists of two essential parts. Biotic components, living organisms such as plants, animals, and microbes. Abiotic components, non-living factors like sunlight, soil, and water. Together, these components interact to sustain life and maintain ecological balance. Populations in nature. A population consists of all individuals of the same species living in the same area at the same time, sharing resources. For instance, all deer in a grassland form a single population, community. A community includes various populations such as plants, insects, and animals living together. These organisms interact to maintain ecological balance. Types of interaction in a community. Organisms depend on each other and their abiotic surroundings for survival. Mutual support. Bees aid in pollination, while birds disperse seeds. Balance. Predators control population numbers, and microbes recycle nutrients. Connectivity. The removal of one species can disrupt the entire community, proving all living things are closely linked. Factors in ecosystem interactions. Ecosystems thrive through constant links between living, biotic, and non-living, abiotic elements. These interactions include biotic, abiotic, plants using sunlight and soil to grow. Abiotic, temperature and wind affecting water cycles. Biotic, animals relying on plants for food and shelter. Benefits of interactions. These connections ensure survival and environmental stability. Resources. Providing food, clean air, and water filtration. Balance. Maintaining cycles between producers, consumers, and decomposers. Protection. Roots prevent soil erosion, while forests regulate the global climate. Ecosystems. An ecosystem is a functional unit where biotic and abiotic components interact. Living things depend on non-living elements for resources, while their activities like plants releasing oxygen influence the environment. Types and organization. Ecosystems are categorized by their location and origin. Terrestrial, land-based, forests, deserts. Aquatic, water-based, ponds, oceans. Human-made, managed areas, farms, aquariums. Overlapped, where land and water meet, like mangroves or estuaries. Hierarchy of life. Life is organized from the individual to the population, then community, forming an ecosystem, and finally the biosphere, the sum of all life on Earth. This structure ensures nutrient cycling and ecological balance. Food interactions in ecosystems. Organisms are classified by how they obtain energy, ensuring a continuous flow of nutrients through the food chain. Categories of organisms. Producers, autotrophs. Green plants that create food via photosynthesis using sunlight, water, and consumers, heterotrophs. Herbivores eat plants, example, cows. Carnivores eat other animals, example, lions. Omnivorous eat both, example, humans. Scavengers or decomposers. Vultures and bacteria clean the environment by breaking down dead matter, recycling vital nutrients back into the soil. Food links in nature. Feeding relationships illustrate how energy flows through an ecosystem, moving from producers to various levels of consumers and finally to decomposers. Food chains vs food webs. Food chain. A single, linear path showing who eats whom. Energy flows in one direction, example, grass rat owl. Food web, a complex network of interconnected food chains. Importance: because most animals have multiple food sources, webs provide stability. This connectivity prevents starvation and maintains a healthy balance, ensuring the ecosystem remains resilient if one species declines. Trophic levels. Trophic levels are the successive steps in a food chain where energy is transferred. They start with producers, first level, followed by primary consumers, second, secondary consumers, third, and tertiary consumers, fourth. Food pyramids. A pyramid of numbers illustrates the quantity of organisms at each level. Upright pyramid, common in grasslands, the number of organisms decreases as you move up, many plants, few carnivores. Inverted pyramid, the number of organisms increases at higher levels. For example, a single tree can support thousands of insects and numerous birds. Waste and ecosystem balance. In nature, nothing is wasted. Scavengers, vultures, ants, and decomposers, fungi, bacteria, act as nature's cleaners, breaking down dead matter into nutrients. This process, decomposition, recycles essential elements back into the soil to support new plant growth. The ripple effect and stability. Ecosystems are delicate. One small change like deforestation or pollution can trigger a chain reaction that disturbs the entire community. Interconnectedness. Losing one species, like pond plants, can lead to oxygen depletion and disease. Outbreaks, regulation, interactions like competition for food and space prevent any single species from overpopulating. Maintaining these links is vital for a stable, balanced environment. Interactions. Maintaining balance, ecosystems rely on symbiotic relationships and competition to regulate population sizes and ensure resource stability. These interactions define how species coexist and thrive. Types of symbiosis. Mutualism. Both species benefit. Example, bees pollinating flowers while getting nectar. Commensalism. One benefits, the other is unaffected. Example, orchids growing on trees for support. Parasitism. One benefits, parasite, while harming the other, host. Example, ticks on animals or cuscutter on plants. Predation. A predator hunts prey. Example, lions hunting deer, which is essential for controlling population numbers and maintaining ecological harmony. Benefits and challenges of ecosystems. Ecosystems provide essential services, clean air, water, food, and climate regulation. They support our health and provide spaces for recreation. However, human activities like deforestation, pollution, and the over-extraction of resources now threaten this natural balance. Human-made systems and farming. Human-made ecosystems, environments like farms, gardens, and aquariums are managed by people but interact closely with natural systems. The Green Revolution. To meet growing food demands, India introduced chemical fertilizer and machinery. While this solved food shortages, it led to soil degradation and the depletion of groundwater. Sustainability. Balancing modern agricultural needs with environmental health is critical to preventing long-term damage to our resources. Chemical overuse and monoculture. Excessive use of fertilizer and pesticide degrades soil by killing beneficial microbes and reducing humus, leading to erosion and pest resistance. Similarly, monoculture growing the same crop repeatedly depletes specific nutrients and reduces biodiversity, making farms vulnerable to failure. Sustainable farming solutions. Sustainable practices like crop rotation, organic farming, and natural pest control ensure long-term productivity. Benefits: healthy food, fertile soil, reduced pollution, and protected wildlife. Risks of neglect. Ignoring these methods leads to poor food quality, resource depletion, and a permanent loss of biodiversity. Transitioning to these methods is vital for future food security.